So the title of that roll was Dixieland Classics. First song was That's a Plenty, second was Midnight in Moscow, and the third was Copenhagen. I got really lucky to find this roll. I wasn't actually looking for it, but I listened to it, and it's one of the best new ones I have. If you have any questions about the piano, or any song requests even, because I might have a song that you might want to hear. That's why we have a comment section down there, so if you want to ask, go ahead. And I'll check my collection and see if I have it. Next one up, Wait and See. The song was written in 1945. It's a really nice piece. It's a rather obscure one. Oh, which is my favorite to play. Well, I actually have a lot of favorites. This is one of them, but it depends on what kind of song it really is. If it's one of the crazier ones, like a 6-hand arrangement, I have a few like that. But then there's ones that are just nice to listen to in general. It's kind of like swing music, which is what this one is. In terms of like 40s music, this one's probably my favorite. And then Ragtime, 1920s music. Let me see. In terms of Ragtime, the favorite Ragtime piece I have, roll, is right here. It's one of these. Yeah. Little Miss Springtime. We'll play that one next. It's kind of repetitive. It has, at the beginning, it starts with a 2-step, and then it goes to a waltz, and then back to a 2-step, and has a really big ending chord. All right, we'll do this one after the Ragtime one, because, well, you gotta please your viewers, I guess. Okay. So this roll it's about 100 years old, but because the reason it hasn't fallen apart is because, well, they used good paper, and there's no edge damage, or at least very little, mostly because of that. Also, this one came in a lot that had been sitting in dry storage for about 40 years. So, yeah, I get lucky with some of them. There's others that were really loved, and they played them a lot, and they're not in the best shape, but I do my best to fix them. All right, here we go. there's no, they keep the holes are just long slits, and the paper structurally suffers from that sometimes. If it gets out of alignment, it can make it lift off the tracker bar and let air into unwanted holes, and then it plays a bunch of notes at once, which doesn't really sound good. So I had to shift it over a little bit. Okay, so how do you get these sort of things? Well, most of mine I buy either from antique stores, which occasionally you do find them in there, which a lot of them I buy for $1, $2 a piece. But there's also thousands of them on eBay, which most of them I usually don't go for unless there's something in particular, like the piece, or it's a company I've just never seen. But usually, I've had some less than amazing experiences on eBay before with rolls, so I kind of tend to stay away from it. Not to mention, a lot of the time they're overpriced. Other times you find them on Facebook. Somebody finds them in their grandmother's attic or something. The piano's long gone. Occasionally there's still a piano there, but usually it's just the rolls, and then they'll sell them to you for a pretty low price. Okay, so yes, it's a player piano. It plays itself. These holes you see in the paper that I mentioned earlier. Oh, how will you? Yeah, you can see it. Okay, the holes in the paper are notes in the song. This hole along the side here is for the automatic sustain pedal function. I usually have it disabled because I prefer to do it myself. I think that it's a very underused feature in terms of what they perforated onto the rolls. Here, I'll bring the camera a little closer for you so you can see the tracker bar. So, in this brass tracker bar, there are 88, well, ignore the ones on the extreme left and right for now. But each one of these is for one note on the piano, and all 88 of them play from one end to the other. So what you do is you take your roll and you push it in this side, and then there's a slotted end over here, and it clicks in. And you pull down the tab over the tracker bar onto the take-up spool, and then you start running it, and there you go, your roll's in there. These holes along the sides are to help keep the paper in line, because if it gets out of alignment, it won't work right, and then, well, you won't get music, it won't play the music properly. So you can see the notes on the piano play as the hole in the tracker bar opens up. It's pretty difficult to explain just by just talking about it as to how it all works. But there's a number of books that you can read about that, and if you look up "Outside the Vacuum" on YouTube, there's a guy who Nate Otto, he rebuilds players, and he explains very well exactly how everything inside of them works. All right, so here goes Wait and See. Alright. Our next song is by Irving. Yeah, Irving. I might not be pronouncing it right. Irving Berlin. Anyone who listens to 1920s music, not a problem if you don't. But you've probably heard of the piece Blue Skies. This roll is actually there's an imperial roll with this same arrangement, but I happen to have a QRS recut, which Imperial actually was owned by QRS when they made that roll. But I was lucky to find this one because it was at an antique store, and I got it for $1, which on eBay, who knows how much they charge for something like that. Because like bidding, they know it's rare and they go for a bid to probably get pretty high. Next song on the list is some Ragtime. It's another obscure piece. So it works on. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. I bought this roll. I bought in Rhode Island, in a lot that was supposedly somebody's grandmother's. The piano is long gone. It is the Bohemian Rag. Now I do my own repairs, and I can tell you that is not mine. I did not do that. That's how I found it. I decided to just leave it that way because I feel like it would just hurt the label and the leader more to fix it. Oh yeah, they also put some sort of masking tape on the back, of course. But the rest of the roll is in good playable shape. It's in pretty good shape for its age, considering how popular Ragtime was and still is. And I'm glad to have it. the beginning, at least the beginning, is very influenced by the beginning of the second act of the opera La Boheme, if I'm pronouncing it right. If you ever listen to that, you'll hear the similarity. What was the tempo? 80. Okay, here we go. roll might have been cut narrower at the end because it doesn't track perfectly. That's another problem with some of these older rolls. They didn't always cut them perfectly straight, which my friend has an Ampico. At one time he was playing an original Ampico roll, and he had to stop it because it wasn't cut straight, and it almost disintegrated. No, this one should go back in the closet. Okay. This is probably one of the craziest rolls I have. It's titled A Motor Ride. It's an Anglius Militant Artist Style roll, which that means that the expression line is formulated. Oop, hit the stand there. 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. So the T means tempo, and the line of them, depending on where they move throughout the paper, you can see it moves there. That tells you the dynamic. So in this case, it says piano, and as it moves along, it'll go to fortissimo and pianissimo. And if it says an R or an A, R means retard, so you slow down the tempo a bit, and A means accelerando, which means you speed it up a bit. And you can kind of guess the speed of how to do that. I have 3 or 4 of these rolls that are like this. The tab. Hold on. Okay. Another aspect of them, piano rolls. They're made of paper and they tear. When one tears, particularly tab, I'll lay it up against here if it's already in the spool box. And you could take a piece of tape and just to help make it pretty, you put it on the back. And there you go. No one will know it was, it's hard to tell it was even torn. And it's good to go. Okay, for the next song we're gonna do some more 20s music. This time we're gonna do a foxtrot. It's called, I gotta put these away as I go. I have my own organization system back here. We're going to do The World is Waiting for the Sunrise. If I do remember correctly, I think it was a waltz at first, but then in this arrangement, they made it to fit the timing of a foxtrot. I've never heard the waltz version of it, but I think it's a pretty nice roll. So there's the label. Almost at least half of my Imperial rolls have been water damaged in some way. They're all perfectly playable. It's just they seem like they've been through a lot and they've been played a lot, but not to the point where they just weren't taken care of. Like, because some people, like the rolls, like the edges can be perfectly fine, but then the leaders are completely destroyed. Okay, here we go. Well, you're welcome about the motor ride. I have a few rolls. Well, no, like you mentioned, boxes without rolls. Most in this, well, there's only one I can think of at the moment, but it's a hymn. It's one of those early vocal style rolls. I was kind of disappointed, but if it was something like, I don't know, like The Entertainer, then I'd be pretty disappointed. But I have plenty of hymns and I enjoy listening to them. So I'm not too frustrated about that one. But for my simplex piano player, which I've uploaded 2 videos on the restoration of that. I bought some rolls for it on eBay, and they were, I mean, I'm glad I have them now, but compared to the ones that came with it, they're in pretty awful shape. They're repairable, just it'll take a while to fix them. Can you play Bar Okay? Bar Okay. That's the song. Let me look for a second. I think I might have it. I think I might remember that. Let's see. Oh, it's Cabaret. That might have been what I was thinking of. Bark. I'm sorry, I don't think I have that. I mean, you can ask for something else. I don't think I have that song. I'm sorry. George Gershwin. He was a very well-known jazz pianist, and I have a roll. I only discovered this like 3 weeks ago. I've had this roll for a month or 2 or 3 months. It's a Hesitation Blues. You can see at the bottom it says played by George Gershwin. Did I say Gershwin? I meant Gershwin. I'm sorry. This roll was in really, really bad shape, and I put a new leader on it. Some of you may have been able to do a better job, but it's a lot better than it was before. There's a lot of edge damage. I repaired that, and well, now you get to hear it play. I assume the tempo is 80 because I have a lot of universal rolls that say the tempo is 80, so I'm going to assume that's what it is.